So quiet, the bidding. And sometimes it's loud, sometimes it's quiet. I don't know what the thing is. Anyway, howdy, 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 dearly seniors. It isn't here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to a brand new day where I'm trying to sit up straight, but it feels like I'm tilting way over. Because of my own scoliosis and the way I sit, I tend to lean off to the right, so when I sit straight up, it feels weird. It is not cold outside. It was really warm last night. It is not cold this morning. Hopefully you slept well. I at least slept, so that's a good thing. And of course, front-loading the videos, hey, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome as well. If you could leave me a comment, that would be double plus good. And I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. I would like to put them up on the screen here, but these 4 people are from the list, and every day I'm going through and thanking these people on my Patreon list for helping to keep me and my aging pet metabolizing. We both appreciate that to no end. If you would like to help keep me and my aging pet metabolizing, I have links to my Patreon in the video description, as well as a PayPal for possible donations and an Amazon wishlist link that I desperately need to fix up, but I have been doing not very good with my legs, so it's Anyway, though, thumbs up and thank you. I really hate asking for help. I have $10 left in my checking account because another rolling charge came through, and it's a weekend sum until it's the end of the month. I know it's the end of the month. If you can help, that would be awesome. If you can't, please don't worry about it. Your survival is important. If you don't have anything to donate to help me out, that's fine. Don't feel bad. You need to take care of yourself first. So only if you have something and you can afford it and you want to. Otherwise, no, take care of yourself. But if you can. Anyway, though, on to the rest of the stuff. Because my leg. Yesterday I did even less than I normally do during the daytime. I did my best to keep my backside planted in this chair. I've got my leg up, I've been less active, and except for when I've had to go to places like Walmart, this week I have been trying to travel as little as possible. Now, when I went to the hospital and got the infusion, there was more swelling around my ankle. Now, the general swelling that I get is like this. You know, I can squish my finger in there pretty deep and it doesn't even hurt. It's just I've got generalized swelling. Now, I can go to skin that should be like this on my leg, and it's like this. It barely goes in, and when it does, this part feels like styrofoam. There was some of that last night. Around my ankle, even though it wasn't locally swollen, there were many patches where it felt squishy like styrofoam instead of squishy like this and very tender. Oh, it's tender to walk on, but it looks good. It looks really good. And I'm still taking the doxycycline, which I probably should have taken with meds, because I realized that, I'm feeling kind of sick to my stomach this morning. And I took my doxycycline. You might have to take it with food because I've been feeling really sick to my stomach here. And maybe that's why. So joy. Anyway, though, I traveled as little as possible, and when I went to bed last night, like I said, there was not as much swelling, even on the entirety of the whole leg. This morning, it looks great. So thumbs up on that. Now, one of the things I've also been doing, as stated, Nexor EH sent me some stuff where I can spritz it on my hands, and it basically comes out to, it's the frankincense off of a particular type of tree. It's a substance that it makes. You put it onto areas of inflammation and pain. It's one of those home remedies that people have used for thousands of years. So I've been using that on my hands. And then there's a magnesium sort of thing for cramps. I have been spreading that onto my inner thigh before I go to bed. And then again when I wake up, because that one night morning when I got up out of bed, and because it cramped up so bad and it hurt for a very long time. Yeah, heading into summer, I am spritzing that up. For whatever reason, my neuropathy just goes haywire when I am too warm. I don't know what it does to my nerves, but boy, oh boy. So what else do I have on my list? Not a whole lot, because I spent most of my time just trying to relax and get better yesterday. I spent some time sleeping in my chair, unfortunately. But the rest of the time, I was trying and thinking and hoping to get something recorded, and I couldn't. So, and I'm still not as good up here as I should be. I'm getting better. I felt much more energetic this morning. It's still 8 o'clock when I started, but that's better than 8:40 like yesterday. So let me check the rest of my list here and what I've got all going on. Oh yeah, somebody in the comments had mentioned, I think it was Shinra, I believe. I could very well be wrong, and probably am, was talking about when I did Dungeon Solo, the Dungeon Solo game before. They really enjoyed that and hoping I do more. Now, it's far more deadly. It's kind of like the game No Quest and No Quest EH, where you can make up a character in like less than a minute, and then you're in the dungeons and playing, but that game is also exceptionally deadly. Exceptionally deadly. Well, so is Dungeon Solo. So I've been thinking, since they said, hey, why not adjust the difficulty? And there are so many games out there that say, hey, you want to adjust the difficulty? Why not do this, this, or this? So hey, yeah, make it a little bit easier, and maybe not every one of my characters will just get eaten. That would be good. So I'm going to be playing that one again, or the expansion, Dungeon Solo, Dragon's Fang Mountains. So we shall see. Definitely a thumbs up. Which also comes to both for tabletop RPGs and computer RPGs. I've been thinking about this one for quite some time, because I read a blog every once in a while on Blogspot, where there's this person, the CRPG addict. They're going through, and they've been playing for probably over a decade now, going through and blogging and talking about playing these old RPGs from like back in the 80s, some of them back in the 70s, and then working his way to the present. One of the things that you have in computer games, and I think it also happens as well, yeah, because of things like the Note Quest. There's open towns versus menu towns. Now, a computer game with a menu town, there are some where it's just you're in town, so it's just you just click onto the shop, and then it opens up a little shop menu, you buy your stuff, you click on the little things, it's just a menu you go through, you do stuff. Things like Note Quest, you have your adventure, you come back out of town, it's a menu town. It says, oh, it's your town turn, you can refill all your stuff, you can do this, you can do that, and then you heal, you do that. That's just a menu town, if the town isn't important. Then there's the open towns in the computer RPGs, especially in modern 3D games, where if you want to go sell something, you've got to walk across town to get to the shop to open up the door to talk to the shopkeeper, and then if you need to go get healed after that, you got to go walk across town so that you can get to their house and open it up and talk to them. Does that really help in every case? Even a game like The Witcher and all, would some of these things actually be better helped with just a menu town? Because what does it help, aside from immersion, to have an actual spend 5-10 minutes going around town and doing stuff because you're just moving through a 3D space versus just click, 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 all right, I'm ready to go. I mean, there's immersion versus non-immersion, and it does this with tabletop stuff too. Worth thinking about if you're ever playing and thinking about these things. Which, just mentioned, watched another video. There are a couple people on YouTube that make games and such. One of them, I don't know if they have a YouTube channel, but these people were singing the praises of the game Cairn. It is one of those new OSR old school games where if you're going to make up a character for a modern RPG, You might have to take up a whole session. It might take an hour or more to make up a character, which is going to kind of turn off new players, isn't it? The game Cairn. The game master had not played it. The players had not played it. They made up characters and were playing in 15 minutes. And then the game master, who has a channel, was talking about how they did 7 games in 3 days with no preparation using the game Cairn, and in every single case, everyone had a great time using those rules. And the game Cairn is almost perfect on its own just to play solo, because most of the stuff you can generate everything just on the random tables that it has. And it's only like 24 pages, and it's free, and it's Creative Commons, so if you want to use it and change it and then sell it, you can. You can't just take the same thing. You have to modify it, but you can do that. So thumbs up. What else do I have on my list? Oh yes, I had also talked about, checking my time, there are horror games out there that I had at first not really liked because the games they're moderately short, maybe even an hour long, but they're not really a good game. And they're not really a good short story either, because the story that they're telling is usually bad. But I finally figured out they're not trying to sell you a full game. They're not trying to sell you a full short story. It's the experience. You're having the experience. Maybe you'll feel something. Possibly you'll even have an emotion. And so, and that's the whole point of it. I watched this morning, a guy I watched who hasn't been on YouTube as much lately. Not sure why, but that's happening to a lot of people. He was playing one of these games, like The Entity. It was an SCP type game, and when I was watching it, if you know SCP, it's the Secure, Contain, Protect, where they've got weird and strange things that they're trying to contain, and some of them have to be treated in specific ways, and they use prisoners where, if they die, oh well, to take care of these things. Now, this game was like The Entity, and your job was to get up, make sure that this entity is fed human beings, to clean up the mess after they've eaten a human being. So you have just a terminal with ASCII type graphics where you've got to use your commands to open up the prisoner door, open up the entity door, listen for all this stuff going on, the screams, the violence, close the doors, go in, pick up the parts the monster didn't eat, dispose of them, mop up the blood, start the next day. You were getting all these messages about how don't feel bad about feeding these people to monsters. They're all bad people and have done morally and ethically horrible things. At that point, because you're in basically a one-room set where you've got a bed, you've got a toilet, you've got your computer stuff, there's a door, and you've got to use your computer, go outside and do all this stuff, and you're in cells and talking to people. I went, you know what, I bet, you feeding people to this entity makes you a moral and ethical monster, and so you're probably going to end up as one of those things because just of the look. And yeah, that's exactly what it was. At the end of like 3 or 4 days, the door on your side opens, monster comes in, eats you, and then they just get a whole bunch of other people to go and take over, because once you get eaten, it's, game over. And that's the game. It's like maybe 20 minutes long. Not a good game. Not really a well-told short story. But it's an experience. It is an interactive, audio-visual experience where you may feel things and possibly experience an emotion. Bingo, that's the point. So thumbs up. Now, what else do I have on my list here? I did not get a whole lot to think about creatively, so I'm going to talk about this one here. Once again, they might be giants. I talked about this one song they had done off the album Apollo 18, which at first I and my friends had hated until we listened to it on acid. And then we got it. It was great. Now, once again, there's the song Turn Around. I have read one of the lyrics and then the chorus for it. Again, this is how you can tell. Not necessarily a drug album. Good for people on them, but not necessarily written by someone on them, but this part of the song and then the chorus again is, I was out by myself in the graveyard. I was doing an interpretive dance when I felt something heavy and pointed strike me in the back of my neck. And then the ghost of my dance instructor pushed me down into an open grave. And as dirt rained down, she played a xylophone and sang me this song. Turn around. Turn around. There's a thing there that can be found. Turn around. Turn around. There's a human skull on the ground. Human skull on the ground. Turn around. That is what are you supposed to take from that song? And then it opens up with, he's sitting in his office doing late night work, and he gets a phone call from a guy that he had recently had killed. And when he looked out the window at him, the guy had the same obsequious manner, which was the reason they'd had him killed. And so to calm his nerves, he sang that song, Turn Around, to himself. Listen to Apollo 18. Purchase Apollo 18. Appreciate Apollo 18. Now, the rest of anything here on my list, I don't really have a whole lot because I tried to think creatively, but even I did only a very short walkies. Went to Safeway, the local Safeway, bought what I needed, and it cost just a few dollars, which I don't have coming up because that rolling charge, and then came home. So I don't really have a whole lot to talk about past that. I want to be creative, and I'm trying to be creative. I mean, I was thinking of the King and Crimson and the whole inside-outside Razor's Edge encrypted world. Now, I'll do this. Since I had mentioned Trevor Savek before. Trevor Savek is a guy he was born in Tonasket, in Tonasket Valley, on the Razor's Edge. Once he grew up and had an idea that worked out real well, he moved to Apple Rock, and from there started up a business, was employing a lot of people, and so was doing business trips. He would do business trips around the Razor's Edge. He would come out here to the outside and do business trips and sell things out here, and then his third eye opened as well, so he was hanging out with cryptids. The very, very dangerous cryptids that, again, I said they'll eat you if you look at them funny, but he likes that environment because it feels like living on the Razor's Edge again. Very nostalgic. It feels like home. He likes that feeling. And they like him. He's a nice guy. But while people are feeling things, because on the Razor's Edge, the kaiju rampages and kills and eats like 15,000 people out of 25,000 in Apple Rock. And Trevor Savek, he's on a business trip where he's hanging out with the dangerous cryptids in the cryptid world. And all of his employees / friends are eaten. His business is destroyed. His town is destroyed. It's just a horrific nightmare. But he's also from the Razor's Edge, and one of the things that the Crimson Kingdom does is, in an effort just to document everything, they will gather all the public domain stuff from security cameras, any microphones, anything that anybody has, and they publish souvenir books of the rampages. Trevor Savek has like the last 5 or 6 ebooks of the rampages, and they are filled with video, like almost from the moment it starts to the moment it ends. Video, pictures, and text of this thing rampaging and devouring thousands of people. And one of the things he does is, after about 2 months, the Crimson Kingdom releases an ebook for the latest rampage, and he shows it to a bunch of the cryptids where, he has to project it on a wall so everyone can see it properly, and a phone from the inside, a Sayaki phone from the Crimson Kingdom will do. Just hold it on your hand. You can project against an entire wall, and it's like 1920 by 1080. So they're good phones, good tech. But he's got that showing the ebook of, from almost the beginning to the end, where it's eating like almost 15,000 people with security cam shots of the thing with its mouth gaping open, handfuls of screaming people, just open mouthfuls of torn human corpses. And he's showing all that stuff, and occasionally it's like, oh look, that's Devin. He used to work for me. And that's just the picture of Devin is just Devin's macerated corpse inside of the mouth of the kaiju before it swallows. So he shows that, and people are, even the cryptids are like, holy shit. So thumbs up on that. And of course, I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. Going to go through and thank how many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count American Sign Language on the fingers of this hand, I'm not really counting anymore. It's just a method of stimming. So thumbs up for that. We have, take off my glasses so I can read again, Jesse Koskinen, thumbs up, thank you, greatly appreciated. Good to see you in the comments, and I'm leaning way over in every direction now, so yay. It's Relit, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. And Trevor was very lucky. J-A-Y-Y, thumbs up, thank you, greatly appreciated. And I use primarily Kevin MacLeod music, look up Incompetent online, and that stuff. He does some really good stuff. You've even heard it in movies, though it's not supposed to be there. Flora Mew, thumbs up, thank you, and good to see you. Shinra, greatly appreciated. And it was you, so thumbs up. And then we have Chris, thumbs up, thank you very, very much. And my background picture isn't exactly an Adam and Eve type story. It's just a world, once again, where everyone is happy and safe and nobody gets hurt, and there are a lot of snakes there, and they just swallow and digest alive however many women that they want. And it's a lot. It's a sweet and beautiful world. We have RJ Mitchell, greatly appreciated, boy. I hope you like Kung Fu Panda 3 too. I love number 2, but they're all awesome. And then we have Nixor EH, thumbs up, thank you much, and I hope that you are still doing well. And that is it. So thumbs up, thank you, greatly appreciated, each and every one of you. You get me out of my head, into the world, dealing with real people, if only for a short time. Thumbs up for that, greatly, greatly appreciated. Yay! Put my glasses back on for the last part. I'm going to continue taking it easy. Just keeping my backside planted in my chair here as much as possible. Oh God, was my backside sore at the end of the day yesterday though, but it's worth it because my leg looked better. So I'm going to be doing that, trying to move around as little as possible, and I'm going to hopefully keep healing. Hopefully you can get done the things that you want to get done, and if you can't, do not beat yourself up. That does not help a thing. Yay. Yay. So, once again, I tried to think of something, halfway about how to end these things, so I'm not just trailing off like this, but I'm going to be trailing off like this. So, oh well, though. Still, all we can do is think of a beautiful and safe world where no one ever gets hurt, and the sidewalks as you go walking down the street are lined with fat snakes just coiled up against buildings, digesting alive the women in their stomachs. A beautiful world indeed. So, you take care and I'll see you. Gotta come up with a better ending.